I was folding laundry when my brother-in-law pressed himself against my back and whispered that my husband was lucky he had such self-control. That was the moment I knew something had to change. It started 6 months earlier when Marcus showed up at our doorstep with everything he owned stuffed into trash bags. His landlord had kicked him out, or so he claimed. My husband Derek didn't hesitate. He's family, babe. We've got the spare room. That first dinner, Marcus looked me up and down and said to Derek, "Man, you really outkicked your coverage with this one." Derek grinned like it was a compliment. I smiled politely, but something in Marcus's eyes made my skin crawl. Within weeks, the comments became constant. "Your wife's got killer curves," he'd announce at breakfast while I stood right there. "Must be all that yoga she does." I'd never mentioned yoga to him. Later, I realized he'd been watching me through the window. Whenever Derek worked night shifts at the fire station, Marcus would suddenly appear in whatever room I occupied. "You look lonely," he'd say. "I could keep you company." His smile never reached his eyes. The bathroom incident happened 3 times. 3 separate times he walked in while I was showering, acting shocked each time. The lock had mysteriously stopped working after his second week with us. Then came that Tuesday evening. I was at the stove making pasta when Marcus came up behind me, reaching around for the pepper shaker. "You always smell so good," he breathed into my ear. Derek's real lucky I respect him so much. I jerked away and immediately told Derek everything that night. Every inappropriate comment, every convenient accident, every text message with winking emojis sent at 3 in the morning. Derek set down his beer and sighed. "Marcus is going through a really hard time right now. Can you just cut him some slack?" "He makes me uncomfortable in my own home," I said. "If you can't be supportive when my family needs help, what does that say about you?" I stared at my husband. "It says that your wife's comfort should matter more than your brother's feelings. You're being dramatic. Marcus is harmless. That's just his sense of humor." I pulled off my wedding ring and set it on the coffee table. "Then you can enjoy his sense of humor without me." Derek actually laughed. "Come on, where would you even go?" I didn't answer. I walked to our bedroom and locked the door. Here's what Derek didn't know. For months, I'd been secretly planning an anniversary surprise. A complete renovation of his cluttered office into the workshop he'd always dreamed about. I'd saved money from my freelance work, interviewed contractors, and even purchased equipment that sat hidden in our garage. The contractor, Luis, was scheduled to begin next week. I called him that night from the locked bedroom. When Derek left Wednesday morning for his 48-hour shift, and Marcus headed out for his daily job search, Luis and his crew arrived at 9. But they weren't there to build Derek's workshop. "You're absolutely certain about this?" Luis asked, studying my completely revised plans. "Completely certain. Can you finish by tomorrow afternoon?" With the rush fee we discussed, definitely. While hammers and drills filled the house with noise, I made other calls. My sister in Denver had been asking me to visit for months. My boss had been hinting about remote work possibilities. And the storage facility on 5th Street had units available immediately. By Thursday at 3 in the afternoon, the house had been transformed. The spare bedroom Marcus had claimed was now a photography studio with professional lighting rigs bolted to the ceiling and backdrop systems mounted to the walls. His bathroom had become a dark room with specialized ventilation that would cost thousands to remove. The office I'd planned as Derek's workshop was now my pottery studio with a kiln being installed. I packed Marcus's belongings carefully into boxes and stacked them neatly in the garage. Then I left Derek a note on the kitchen counter. "Your brother needs family support. I'm sure your mother has space. My new number is for emergencies only." I was 3 hours into my drive to Denver when my phone started exploding. Derek had come home to find Marcus standing in the garage, surrounded by boxes, screaming about his missing room. The photography equipment was professionally installed. The dark room had permanent modifications. The pottery studio had a kiln that required special electrical work to relocate. "She can't just renovate me out of the house," Marcus was yelling when Derek called me the first time. I didn't answer. Or the 2nd through 16th times. I answered on the 17th call. "What did you do to our house?" Derek's voice was shaking. "I improved it." "Isn't that what supportive partners do?" "Marcus has nowhere to go." "This is insane. That sounds like a family problem. And you told me family supports family, right?"